Let's get started. We have this entire rig. I finished up the other side of the rig off screen. I think we just needed to do like this hand. And I think I also did the mouth. I might have done the mouth off screen. Either way, we have a control for the mouth now, which is kind of good. I'll show you. This is actually, it's quite fun. You can just move this back and forth and it opens and closes up the mouth properly, which is, I'm unreasonably happy with this, to be fair with you, because this is like kind of cool, in my opinion. I spent literally like an entire day messing around with the blending between IK and FK, but I now have a very simple slider here called IK Influence. That is a thing we have now. You could see that, right? Yeah, I think you could. And I can just pull on that and it goes to the IK. And if I set it to 0, it goes back to the FK. And I can animate that and everything will be all fine and dandy. So when I want the body to move with FK, so with these things, I can make it do that. And when I wanted to move it with IK, I can do that instead. And I can even blend between the two of them, which is fantastic. So setting this up itself didn't take that long. It's just me experimenting with like different ways to like parent these things to each other and whatever. That ended up taking a little while. So that's why I spent pretty much an entire day on it. And aside from that, I think we're pretty much good to go. Oh, also, I parented the head control to the IK body control. So that when I move the body, it also moves the head with it. And technically, I guess I can also rotate the IK control and do stuff with it. I didn't really think about that, but that's a thing that I can apparently do. Oh, but if that's a thing I can do, hold on. That means that this will now... I don't think... Maybe... No, it's not really the way I wanted it to work. I was thinking maybe I can have something where he goes from like a... what's the word? Convex to concave, or the other way around back. But he actually like rotates it around in a circle, so that's not really what I wanted to do. So we're gonna, if I want them to have a curve to his back, we're gonna just need to do that with the FK. And anytime I want them to be like bent forward, I can fairly easily just do that with IK. So we have those options. Technically, maybe you also want to set up options like that for the arms, but I'm not gonna, because I didn't. Let's clear all transforms and get started with the actual animation. So I was watching one of your videos and started hearing your voice twice. That's just what I am. I'm everywhere. You'll never be rid of me. I'll be in your dreams, haunting you. It is a cool model. I am actually quite happy with it. And I'm also quite happy for the most part. The rig is a little iffy sometimes still, but for the most part I'm quite happy with the rig as well. So let's get started with the actual like animation stuff. I want to open up like a new window here. And it's been a while since I've done any of this, so I think it's the action editor maybe that I want. No, the action editor is what I want up here. What I want down here is the nonlinear animator. So the idea is we can make... Also, I made a to-do list for today's stream right here in Blender. We have the base animations, which is the idle, a couple of damage animations, and some character flair, which is just like a taunt, whatever, just something that he can randomly at certain intervals do while he's idle. Then we've got combat animations, which is an attack for the left and the right hand, a revenge attack, which I don't know what that's going to be yet. And the entire idea behind this dude is that he can... I still need to get used to how this works. Is that he can like move down under like this pool of shadow underground. That is the most fucking scuffed arrow I've ever done. And then the pool of shadow itself can move around, and in some other place it can then like pop up back out and attack you. So there's going to be two different animations: the animation of him disappearing into the ground, and then the animation of him reappearing above ground. And then we have also a miscellaneous things to do here, the morphing for the pool of darkness, which is going to make a couple of blend shapes, and in Unreal we're going to like in real time blend between those. I have a video specifically about like that entire system that I made like quite a while ago at this point. So that's all the things that we're going to need to do at the very least, and then if we think of anything else, we might animate it. I don't know if we're going to get through all of these animations today. We might not. We'll see. Let's get started though. I think we're going to get started with the idle animation, because once again, you will note that this dude, in fact, does not have legs. This is important. Also, I'm going to be annoyed by this, so let's just shade smooth for the thing down there. This dude doesn't have legs, which is relevant, because I don't like animating legs. Nobody likes animating legs. So I make characters without legs whenever I can. This dude is no exception. The wonderful thing about making something without legs is that their idle animation, 90% of the time, can also be their movement animation. So you don't need to make a movement animation. You can just make them idle and make them float about, and that's it. So we're going to make an idle animation, and then we'll immediately have its movement animation as well. And for that, what I'm going to do is we're going to do this with IK, the idle animation. I'm going to stack this up in a similar way that I did with the Reaper, if you remember that. I don't have Unreal open right now. I do have Unreal open, apparently. I don't know. I'll just open up Unreal real quick and show you how that works. But I have like 3 different animations like layered on top of each other for the Reaper. And they're all looping on different rates. So that way you don't have a very obvious like looping point for the idle animation, which I think is actually quite cool. So let's start by animating this. And then just going like 30 frames forward. And putting a keyframe. Can we have like auto keying on for this or something? It's been a while since I've done any of this in Blender. But this will just make them move forward. To be fair, I probably want them to start a little bit more forward as well. But this will make them... Ah, fuck. Okay, I'm going to look into auto keying real quick. Because this is going to bother me really badly. Blender, action, editor, auto key. Auto keyframe. Oh, it's literally just... Oh, that's right. This is a little annoying, but no. Just make another one real quick over here. You need to go into the timeline and enable this. That is the auto keying. Though I suppose we might as well just use a timeline for this, actually. Yeah. Okay. So now you will note that if we go to like this and... Oh, I also have symmetry still enabled. So because everything is properly named, symmetry also works for animation controls, apparently. I figured this out while I was setting up the post that I used for the thumbnail for this video. But you very much like symmetry just works for all this, which is like actually quite amazing. It's not really what I want at the moment, but it is really quite cool to get them into like roughly the proper place. But actually no, because I want to only move the body with this one. So we can like move the body a little forward, and then we can move it back again at like 60 frames. So we'll have this thing that moves the body back and forth like this. And we'll worry a little bit more about making that like smooth out in a moment. But if we then push this down as an action, we can rename this armature action or this strip to idle, like zombie idle body. And then we can start animating this other stuff. So this, again, we can just put these over here. And this will still like display now, right? But it's not going to be part of our new animation. If we look at our new animation, we only have the IK controller for the right keyframe. So let's actually also keyframe it for the left by just like moving it around. You can actually see that somewhere, I think. Maybe we do need to be in the action editor for that. I just need to select them both. Anyway, so now both of these are keyframed, but this one doesn't have keyframes. But we can still like see it, which is quite nice. Again, I don't really care about the action editor, I don't think. So for this one now, I can say, okay, these start here, and this will be like 20 frames of movement. And we could even do one specifically for the left arm, one specifically for the right arm, but for now I'm just going to do like this. And then at frame 40, put this one down here, and then that one like up there somewhere. And then for frame 60, which actually does mean that it loops properly from start to end, so I'm probably going to do something about that in a moment. These need to be slower anyway, so that's fine. We just take all this, and I think like Blender has this functionality where you can just scale an animation, which is fantastic. So as you can see, these are now two separate animations that need a little work, admittedly. Could even do this at like 110. And then this is about 60 frames, right? So I think if we just mark that as cycle strip, it'll keep doing it, right? No, it won't. That doesn't really matter that much. So this will be zombie idle arms. And now we want to change some things about this, so we can start editing this action, I think. And probably want to like throw in some of like this kind of stuff. Do make sure that they start and end at the same keyframe though. So something like that and something like that. And there's going to be a lot of just me messing about like this in this entire stream. So hopefully that is at least somewhat entertaining. How's everybody doing today? I need more room on my monitor, I think. Usually I do this kind of thing with 2 monitors because it is oh no, I actually needed that. I needed that. I guess we can just hold on. That's the wrong one. I needed to have the dope sheet and then no. Actually, I don't need the timeline anymore, do I? Yeah, we don't need that anymore. We can just use this. That's fine. What I wanted to add in, so let's just make this a little smaller right now. What I wanted to add in is another one, and here we're going to add in a graph editor so that we're going to actually look at the curves and change them around as well. And this would be a thing that I would very much like to pop out here and put on a different monitor. But because I want to show everything that I'm doing, I won't do that. But maybe we can put these like side to side instead. I think we can put these side to side instead. So let's like put this over here and then this. Oh, no. Yeah, this can go down there. That's a little bit better at least, right? We have a decent workspace now. So I can now select keyframes here, and we can see the corresponding curve points in this editor. And honestly, for the most part, I just want to scale these in the X to make them smooth out a little bit more. You can also scale them in the Y. I don't know why you would do that, but you can. Very much can if you want to. And then for this, we'll do the same, right? So I think we don't need to push down again. I think it automatically updates all that for us. We're about to find out now. Oh, hold on. We actually need to do it with these ones as well. That's not what I want to do at all. Oh, okay. So when you select multiple keyframes at different times and you scale on the X, you also scale the timing between them, which is not exactly what we want. So we're going to need to do this one set of keyframes at a time, which, I mean, is fine. It's just a little bit more tricky. But this looks pretty good. So yeah, the motion is a lot smoother now compared to how it was. Okay, my internet is going fucking bananas again. Sorry, I can't do anything about that. Hopefully it won't persist. If it does, sucks to be me, I guess. The zombie idle is only this. So where's my keyframes exactly? Hold on. This doesn't make sense. There we go. And this, very much the same. We just want to scale in the... Oh, it also scales from your playhead for some reason. Oh no, it doesn't. I'm just lying. Okay, cool. And I think we want to maybe change this to lasting for 80 frames or something like that. So that we can scale this up a little bit. And there we go. Wait, what did I just do? I don't think that's what I wanted to do. Oh, I didn't push the other one down yet. Yeah, so this is the body animation, and then this will be the zombie idle arms. And now we can choose between which one we want to see, right? So this is the arm animation. And this is the body animation. And I think we can show them both at the same time. If we set this to being additive instead, I think. Something is going kind of wrong with the with the scaling on this as well. Yeah, I don't think that's how that's supposed to work. Anyway, we'll do the addition of those two in Unreal at a later date. I think that's going to be like a separate stream in and of itself. But that's the basic idea for the animation here. So that will be the idle animation, at least kind of, more or less. Probably can tweak the body a little bit more, I think. Like if we start tweaking action and we like take the pull target here as well. I think this pull target can probably go down. I don't think it actually matters how high up it is. It just... Oh, but that can be an animation in and of itself, right? We can just make a new animation here that goes from like this direction over like, I don't know, 150 frames to this direction. Oh, that's it. If we don't set any of these as like highlighted, it just plays all the animations at once. That's it. So now you can see both of them working at the same time, and it's kind of like working as an idle animation, right? So at like frame 300-ish, it goes back to there. And once again, we can make this a little bit smoother in selecting all of them and like scaling them a little in the X, so that the like ease in and ease out of these animations is a little smoother. And probably, if we had a timeline anywhere, we could set the endpoint of this to 300, but that's fine for now. So we can push this down as zombie idle. Oh, but I don't think that is actually gonna work. Okay, no, that might not work properly. Maybe it will. What, when it's baked down? We'll see. Maybe this is a good idea to test out before we move on. Technically, like, if it is additive in like, its own local space, that should still more or less work, I think. So the thing is, when we export this into Unreal Engine, I'll just call this turn. When we export this into Unreal Engine, we won't have any of these controllers anymore, right? These are only here in Blender. When we export into Unreal Engine, we'll only have, like the deform bones, these ones. So any of this animation that is based on these control bones is going to get baked down into keyframes for these bones. And that's kind of the thing that I'm worried about right now, is I don't know how it's going to deal with, I mean, that's not great for a start. Can we make this like loop? I think there's a way to make them loop, maybe in modifiers. I don't know. I don't really want to mess too much with it. What is cyclical animation? This animation is intended to be used as a cycle, looping over and over, manually sets playback. Let's see. It's definitely the wrong one though. What happens with arm turn? Yeah, it doesn't actually work all that well. We might need to just revise this once it's been imported in engine. But for now, maybe the idle arms can just do with being a little bit more. Hold on. Switch to the control bones. Do we not have a button to move to the previous keyframe? Oh, that's in the timeline, isn't it? Just for a handful of controls, it might be nice to have like timeline up here. Yeah, this is the button that I wanted. So yeah, maybe it's nice to just keep that there. You know? Yeah, let's do that. I'm going to say that's good enough for now, these three. So into the to-do lists. Idle, let's say, completed, at least for now. Preliminarily completed. The damage animations and stuff, this is all going to be much easier. That's just going to be like one animation at place. We don't need to do like any weird blending. So we can properly judge this within this, within Blender. Which is a relief. So let's get started with that. For this, I think what we're going to do is we're going to clear all transforms to begin with, and that makes a keyframe on anything, everything. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want to put keyframes on everything. That is fucking no. I guess if I just like remove all these, they don't animate anymore. Is there a way for me to just reset this without creating? I guess this way. Right? Reset everything, and now we... Yeah, okay. I guess we do it that way. Let's make proper use of the fact that we have symmetry on these. I think for this one, and this is going to be the fun one, right? Because now we used inverse kinematics for one of these, and we probably actually want to set the IK value on all these to 1 for a keyframe. But now we're going to set this to FK, so we can use these controls. Kinda. They're not fantastic. I'll give you that. For some reason... Okay, I think I actually some kind of messed up here. Hold on 1 second, because these all seem to have like a constraint that copies. Yeah, no, that makes sense. This might be messing up. No. So why does the top bone here move when I mean, you can see what I mean, right? When I move this bottom one, these ones also seem to move. Oh. I don't think I want that. I don't think I want these child of constraints, because that's what these are for. Okay, apparently I never finished setting up this portion of the rig, so let's do that real quick. This copy transform is fine. This child of is not fine. This child of that is here is also not what I need. Well, actually, I still need the child controls or constraints. I just need them to be... Oh, but this is the child of that FK. Oh no, but that actually is what it needs to be. It's just that they are weirdly positioned. Well, that's fine then. It's not that important. And then let's go to like frame, I don't know, 40 or something. These just need to... Oh, that just straight up doesn't do anything, does it? Oh, that's because of this. Oh, that might be a bit much. That might have been a bit much. And then these are gonna... We'll just pose first and then we'll worry about the rest. As is usual. Yeah. And then at frame 40, these are gonna be like all the way like back and out a little more. So these can be out a little more as well. And I don't even know where the rotation of the body came from in this game. Like, what the hell is actually like happening like at all in any direction here? But let's see. Obviously too slow, but not a bad start. So let's speed this up to like, I don't know, 15 frames or something, 14, fine. Maybe do that with everything. There we go. No. You know what? If you want to go to frame 15, that's fine as well. I don't care. Okay, and then we just do a lot of this stuff with curves. At frame 30, let's go back to default. So we do bam, bam. That looks bad at the moment. I also think that I want this to be a little less bent forward. Just a little bit more like just up. But now we get to the fun part, and that is animating overshoot with curves. So let's take a look at all that. Not the Y. It's fucking these quaternions, man. Okay, it's this one. So what we'll do is we'll take this and we'll pull this up so that it keeps like moving beyond the keyframe. The Slimer had a single bone. I mean, in some ways, single bones can be a bit more difficult to deal with than multiple bones because you need to do everything with one bone. But it's also a lot less complex, yeah. Making good rigs, I can't give advice on actually because I fucking suck at it, but it is quite a thing. can be quite difficult indeed. Hold on, is this... Yeah, that is the one I want. Anyway, as you can see, the use of this curve editor really is making all the movements a lot smoother. And I think there is a way for me to only move one of these tangents at a time. I might need to handle type 3. There we go. And then let's take a look at this one as well. That's not the one I want. I think it's this one still, right? Yeah. And it's still a bit on the slow side. Specifically the starting portion there. So let's move this to like 6 frames and then this to maybe 15. Oh, something... yeah. Important to note that when you're moving around the timing, you need to select every single one of your controllers. Again, this to 16, this to 6 and 15, rather. That's actually a little fast. Maybe it's fine if that's 25. Yeah, that's pretty good. So yeah, you see how he feels a little bit more elastic now? That's kind of what I want. I also do think that the hands should start moving back a little later. So let's take a look at that for the hands. So it doesn't really matter like what direction or whatever for the hands. I just want the hands, like everything to do with them, to be like skewed a little more this direction. So they stay around and then they follow a little bit. Maybe we actually want to just straight up move the keyframes for these. Which is something that I usually try to avoid doing too much. Because that gets messy real quick. They're a little too far out, which they need to be a little bit more inward. Which keyframe or which channel is that now? That's the... So it's this one probably, right? Yeah. So just in general, I think we want this one to be a little closer in, and then I'm guessing this one is just on the top here. Yes, it is. All right. We're getting somewhere. And then everything to do with these keyframes, once again, we're going to just scale up. And again, maybe move them a little bit in the X direction to there. And then I think this one also just move those two a little later. And then for the rest, so that's effectively just these three, right? We'll just make a extra keyframe, which we can do with some button somewhere, I'm sure. I thought there was just like a keyframe button here? Well, no matter, we can just do that. And we only make that keyframe. We're not going to actually put any different data in that keyframe. The only reason we do that is so that we have some like more runway here for some animation overshoot on this side as well. So we what? Why do that? Oh, because you don't have a keyframe there. Sure. I don't know why it does it that way, but okay. I want the red one. That one, yes. Yeah, it doesn't do the thing. Why doesn't it do the thing? Oh, because I'm putting position keyframes and not rotation keyframes. I'm an idiot. So for all these three, let me try again. We're going to put in rotation keyframes on about frame 30. So now we get the possibility of creating some... No, not that one. No. Oh, this one apparently, okay. What the fuck? I'm losing my mind. Rotation keyframe on frame 30. Right? Right. There we go. Let's just mute everything that I don't care about right now. So again, now it'll overshoot a little forward so that it still feels a little bit more like something is happening. And then we're going to, in the very end, add like 5 more frames where no animation actually is happening, just for it to have some room to blend into the normal idle animation again. So that's just like some blend out space. It'll probably start like blending out by this point already, but we'll again fine tune that as we go along. So we'll do that for every single one of these. And now I have all that working out. Again, we'll just mute all these channels. And just do like this. And this one already had it, apparently. So that's good. Yeah, okay. So there we go. And that's hit animation 1. We need 3 of these for variations. Okay? Yeah? This is why I don't like animating. But I'm going to be real with you. The way we're going to do that, we're going to just take this animation. Just going to rotate the root a little bit. And that doesn't rotate the IK targets. Okay, we might need to mess around a little to make this work, but we'll be fine. Okay, then we take everything and we just put one more keyframe at frame 35. And we look back at the hand controls real quick, because I think I want these 2 hand controls. That's why do I even have the deformed bones visible? I think both of those I just want to... let's see. Uh, I don't really want them to start moving until here, so I guess that means that we have to look at these keyframes, right? And make these even smaller. You're making this game open source. How are you going to earn that? I don't know about anything about the game being open source. The final game's definitely not going to be an open source project. I'm sharing all the information about the development, but the actual game itself, all the files around it. Oh, that's not great. Maybe what we do is we pull this down a little. There's also this weird well, that's actually fine, I think. Yeah, I think that's pretty decent. The last little hiccup that it has here is probably it's from there to there. Well, that's just a matter of cool. So let's take all that and speed it up a little bit to 25 frames. Maybe even to 20 frames. I think this can be moved around a bit. Timing is always a bit annoying to deal with, right? I created a seam with some nanite quality meshes, but it performed badly on a 3080, was getting only 40 to 45 FPS. I mean, there's a lot going on in a scene. And there's also the matter of, I don't know if you have it running off an SSD or not. I think Nanite also has a bigger performance difference between in editor and a proper build, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, no, definitely Nanite does take some extra resources. Nanite's performance isn't on par with good LODs. If you make good LODs, which takes a long time, well, a comparatively long time, that's going to perform better than Nanite, for sure. That said, though, if you have a lot of Nanite meshes and you're only getting 40 to 45 FPS, the chance that the issue is lighting there more so than the actual mesh is pretty high. But it could also just be that you still have a lot of nanite meshes, and it's not like a magic button, right? There's still limitations to that. And hopefully with the Mega Light plugin that Unreal is working on, the whole lighting thing is going to be a little bit better as well. So having more different and dynamic lights in a scene will also perform better, like within the year, hopefully. But yeah, if I had to guess, a lot of performance at this point does come down to like lighting as well. Where's the button? Where's the button? There's the button. Knock back 1. And let's just duplicate this over. Call this knockback 2. And then we'll just go in and edit this one a little bit. And then we'll have knockback 1 and 2. And in a moment also 3. Done fairly simply and fairly quickly. So start editing nanite. I've got nanite in mind now. So let's start by taking this thing. Who the fuck is drilling at like 8 p.m.? Jesus Christ. Now, let's try to get these into a more sensible place. Maybe one at a time. And then maybe... You see, this way he bends over a little to the other direction, and then we'll make one that bends him over into the other direction. And then we'll have 3... hold on, maybe... Oh, that's pretty good. It's a bit awkward the way that it moves, but... That's nothing we can't fix. Because the issue is just this, right? It just needs to move like over there instead. Good enough. And then duplicate that action again. Knockback 3. And we'll like maybe put these, I don't know about that. Start editing this action. And we'll just take this and 1 keyframe at a time. Bend it into the other direction. And then once again, take this and put this into a slightly more sensible place. For both of the arms. There we go. There's still a little weirdness happening here. Oh, that's because this... I think it's because of that. Now it looks like he's waving hello to you after you fucking hit him in the face. That'll be good enough. So let's go back into my to-do list. Damage 1. Damage 2. Damage 3. We're going to... I don't know. Will we do the character flare right now? I guess we will. Oh, one thing we do need to do is to make sure, because this is otherwise going to mess me the hell up. Go into every single one of these and animate the IK influence. Hold on, this needs to... Because in some of these, this needs to be IK influence 1, and the other ones it needs to be IK influence 0. Such as this animation doesn't actually work that well. Hold on. Yeah, without the IK at all. Right? So we need to go in here and set the IK influence to 1 so that this actually works. Same here. I have not actually tested whether or not this works well between different animations, so we're about to find out. Yep, seems like it does. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, let's do the character flare next. I think that's just going to be like a roar or something like that. I don't know, to be honest with you. Let's clear transform. Okay, influence to 0 for this one. Move these arms down a bit. Move this all like down a little more. Make this a little less obviously symmetrical, right? And then... Fuck. Why did it do that? No, really, why did it do that? It shouldn't... oh, because of that. Okay, let's try again. I'm starting to remember why I moved over to Unreal for a lot of this animation stuff, because Blender is a little fucked at times. Just not very like user friendly at times. I don't know. In the end, did this really end up being less of a hassle than setting up the control rig in Unreal? Not that much, to be honest with you. Oh yeah, you can definitely like do animation and rigging and all that kind of stuff in Unreal Engine. So yeah, I don't know that so far I'm really seeing much of a benefit to like doing this stuff in Blender. It was part of the experiment here, so I'm not regretting doing it. Hold on. I'm not regretting doing it for like this character, but there's a halfway decent chance that the next character will be just Unreal again. Yeah, without your middle mouse button, Blender is not a good time. Yeah, so setting up the rigs in Unreal is a bit more bothersome. It's also a bit more flexible, and you immediately have rigs that you can also use for like real-time stuff if you need to, so that's quite nice. Let's just go to 30 frames for now. Can we? Yeah, we can. Probably should have done that with symmetry on, but what do I know? This control bone is also just kind of like bad. So that's definitely not helping. Oh, maybe this would have been better as IK. Anyway. We'll see. We'll see what we end up doing with it. I really like this bone, man. Just the way that this works. It's really quite cool. And mostly like this. Yeah, so this is kind of the thing that I was worried about. Is now I go all the way like this, which is like not that fun to do. It's probably gonna look quite bad as well. Then again, I actually... Hold on. If I just go back a couple of steps and I select this one last, so I make sure it's active, and I rotate this all around the active elements. It's not perfect, but I do think it is improved. So now let's tidy some of this up a little. Oh, like a lot actually. Ooh, no, that's bad. That's real bad. Yeah, so these hands I actually kind of messed up. These hands are really annoying to deal with. I don't really know what I did wrong with them. But I did something terribly wrong with them. We'll worry about like the timing of everything with what the fuck is going on with his wrist there? We'll worry about all the timing stuff in a moment. Once the wrists don't implode on themselves anymore, because this is like 180 degrees twisted now, right? Yeah. How do I even like begin to deal with that shit? What happens with the deform bones? What it is? Oh, I understand what the issue is. Is there a way? Yeah, so what I'm doing is I should be rotating them from... I might still be able to salvage that. I don't know how that's going to deal with the pre-existing animations now, but if I move this over here, it's rotating them from the end of their bones instead of the start, so the rotation of them doesn't like end up making a lot of sense. I think this will make them work a little bit better. Also, the fact that they are standing up right, I think it makes more sense if they were to lay down flat like this. Minus 90, please. There we go. This is definitely going to mess up some of the existing stuff, which we'll have to worry about now. But yeah, this at least makes them workable, though, which is a fantastic start. But now the IK is kind of messing up. Oh, because they also... Oh, yeah, that's... Okay. That's why I did it that way. I remember now. No, that still doesn't make sense, actually. Because that should... I might need to redo quite a lot here. Yeah, so the issue, I think, is this constraint over here on the hand should have been on this. So copy constraint to what the fuck? Yeah, so we remove these real quick, and then we also remove this one, and this will now chain length only 2. Yeah, so this one will now work better. There we go. And then this will have a copy rotation constraint, and we'll copy the, what is it called again? IK, left IK control. So left IK controller. There we go. So now I have a way to rotate the hand easily and actually move it around in a way that makes sense as well. Okay. That is so much better. Okay. Let's do the same here real quick. First, it's going to mess up like super bad. We'll remove these two. Then we'll set this length to 2. Remove that. Make all that make a little bit more sense. And then I guess we can just, no. Copy over this constraint and just change. Wait, what the fuck? Yeah, just change this to the right IK controller instead. All right. Now that this all works properly, somewhat, we'll just get rid of this entire animation because fuck knows that it's messed up. We're going to need to revisit some other animations real quick because these are all probably quite messed up now. At least the keyframes for these. So I don't know why these are the way they are, but there we go. This is knockback, right? So we'll worry about the rotations in a moment. First, put their rough positions in place. There we go. This also explains why I was having such trouble setting these up for the thumbnail, because they were also being a pain in the thumbnail. That's hopefully going to be fixed as well now. Well, the thumbnail won't be changed, but what I mean is hopefully exactly I can now more easily like just open its hand. which is what I wanted all along. Because it's just its local y-axis now. I guess they don't actually technically need to loop, do they? Interesting. Yeah, they don't. Just thinking about it like a second longer, they definitely just straight up do not need to loop because they're one-off actions. This one's just like kind of stuck there for a hot minute. Until it suddenly moves back around these frames. So it's just something about the location of these. I assume that is just a little much. Let's see. This one needs to, I think, like just move in faster. To be fair, he does move like a broken zombie. Not exactly in the way that I would like it to, but he does do that. Yeah, so this one can just be keyframe on all channels. We're getting somewhere. It's just this keyframe is moving in like real interesting ways. Maybe that works. Yeah. And again, this movement might be a little like weird and awkward, and definitely we need to fix the fact that he's like twisting around his own wrist here. But that portion of the animation where he bounces back is also going to be already where he's blending back into his idle animations, right? So if it's a little weird in those areas, obviously not ideal, not exactly the way we want it, but also not necessarily the end of the world. And I think it will just be like this one, right? Yeah, so this also just let's free handles. In some programs it's called break, in others it's free. It's weird. It's what it is. I don't even know what the hell. Oh no, that actually kind of does make sense, doesn't it? I think part of the issue is also this one. So it goes from there to there it should go, I think, roughly. Okay. The all-around timing also, let's make sure that that lines up. The all-around timing also feels like the bounce back is just a little too quick. Like this area probably could do with just being slightly longer. Maybe not that much longer. And this. Why do the hands stick around that much back there? Because they shouldn't. There's no reason, like nothing in these curves indicates... Right? Maybe it does. Is it this? Might be this. No, it's not that. It's also definitely not this, right? It should be the seashell. Oh, there we go. That's it. We'll get there. And now it's just a matter of what the hell is happening with these wrists, right? Because they also have like some weird rotational stuff going on. But I think that's a matter of just making them move more slowly. Yeah, that's pretty good. So that is revised knockback animation number 1, I think. Is it number 1? That's number 1. So instead of trying to fix up the knockback animation 2 and 3 like that as well, what we're going to do is we're going to do the same thing we did before and just copy them over instead. Yeah, so remember when I said we might not finish all the animations today? Yeah, we're definitely not going to finish all the animations today because the IK stuff wasn't really all that well set up for the arms. That's good enough, hopefully. And now, in theory, putting these into more sensible locations should also be a lot easier. Because we can now actually properly rotate. Okay, so this definitely is very twisted, but again, should be as easy as just rotating them around now. It still has the weird... I don't know, man. Can I like on-keyframe just the... Yes, I can actually. Because I can just select these and just say, hey, bye. Yeah, it's something about the rotation of these that is messed up mostly. So... but that also does get rid of the location ones. That's not ideal. Yeah, let's just delete all the rotational keyframes for these, and then we'll do the locations first, and then we'll do the rotations after. So we have this. Should maybe be a little bit more like that. And back like this. There we go. Then we have this one, which is already pretty good, actually. Yeah, maybe this one should have a little bit more of an arc to it in its position, but we'll look into that in a moment. Once everything is properly like back where and how it belongs. There we go. Okay, so yeah, this definitely could do with a bit of tweaking, I think. So we get rid of the rotation stuff, and we go back to only showing the location of them. And then we figure out, I think it's going to be the Y location for these. Yeah, so let's handle type 3. I think we want this to move more that way. And maybe just generally like more quickly that way as well. I don't think it's the Y location, man. I think I made a mistake there. I think this is fine. It might just be like the X. Is it the Z? Must be the Z then. I'm not sure. Like that definitely does help. But not fully. Well, no. If we just do it like this, it will. Surely. Ignore the rotation. Rotation is absolutely messed up, I know. What the fuck? Oh. That's probably why. And then this free handle type. Free handle type. Fucking free willy. Anybody seen that movie? Oh, yeah, it's that wrist that I was worried about. Now I remember. Okay. Yeah. Now we worry about the rotation of this thing again, because this isn't complicated enough as is, obviously. Don't care about the W rotation. Man, I hate quaternion stuff. Always messes with my head. I think that's pretty good. I'll take it. I will take it. Now I'm worried that this one's still fucked. Yeah, it's still fucked. I'm starting to think maybe it is straight up just a better idea to reanimate from scratch instead of trying to fix the animations that we had, but it's too little too late to be doing that now. So I'll just duplicate one more time. And if nothing else, if some of these animations end up looking this bad in engine during gameplay, we can always go back and like change them up a little bit later. But I kind of want to just get a move on and get this thing working. And then we can always improve on matters a little bit later down the line. That's my philosophy. Yeah, okay. This definitely goes all the way back here. This one, I'm just gonna delete all the keyframes for it and do this with it for now. Then this one can go... Jesus Christ, what did I just do there? I think that's rotated too much. Yeah. It's also through the ground, so probably don't want that. I mean, that's not bad. I mean, that is. That definitely is. Well, that's just the Z location that we just... I think it's also a problem that I normalized the curves, which kind of throws me off. Let's just make this a slightly more reasonable shape. You know, I'll take it. You know why I'll take it? Let's double check and then I'll answer. I want to double check if this thing is... Yeah, it doesn't have an animated IK influence. It should. Just need this to be marked as IK influence at 0. Why does it have that at knockback 1, but not at knockback... It also has it at knockback 2, but not at knockback 3. Huh. It's interesting. Anyway, so yeah, now the next thing is I think the body turn is not going to be changed by any of this at all. So let's clear transform real quick. Clear all the keyframes. And if we start editing this action, this should just still like work the same way. I feel like we could probably do with this being like slightly more forward still. Yeah, that doesn't change at all because it doesn't really like have any keyframes aside from the body IK, so that is fine. The zombie arms is going to be something different though, because this does use those and is kind of fucked, to put it lightly. So yeah, I think we just like reanimate that from the start. I think we had 110 frames. Yep, 110. Good. So we just put like something at like frame 40 for this one, and like frame 87. Honestly, just kind of random. I would definitely want this to also... that's probably good enough. kind of fucking posture is this? Holy hell. Why is this IK influence animating? Hold the fuck on. Don't want that to animate. Well, do want that to animate, just don't want that to... I guess it doesn't matter what we do for with this one. So we just remove this keyframe. And then at frame 110 we... Why does it do that? That might be why. Okay, yeah. And at frame 110 we do this again. And then we just do the other hand. So for this one, maybe start with having it in a halfway sensible rotation. So that we can immediately copy that over, and then we'll set this one at like frame 30. And 65. And like 97. It's just like some semi-random movement. Really? Oh, that's not it. There's definitely... It's something. It sure is something. I don't know if it's something good, but it is something. Hello, scale, thank you. Only these two. Yeah, that's very mechanical. I don't like that. Specifically, like this arm is just not... Also, get rid of those control bones. No, the the other ones. So yeah, I think this one should just move in slower. And then we just get rid of those ones. I feel like they should be offset a little more, because right now they're just like going in and going out. Which I don't think is great. But I also don't want to spend too much time on this, so this works for now. And then the zombie idle turn also only does this, right? Yeah. Okay. Let's save all that. I don't know. I like doing this whole character thing on stream, but I'm seriously considering next time I do this to not do the animation on stream, because I don't think a lot of people either like watching animation or like watching me doing animation. Those are two very separate things. Because I'm kind of just like fucking around. That's honestly what's going on. Oh yeah, well, we're gonna do that character flare animation, eh? I guess that's the next thing we do now. Yeah, let's do that. So we clear transform all. I guess IK influence is 0. It's fine if everything starts with a keyframe, actually. It's not ideal, but it's also not horrible. Yeah, so just for timing purposes, we went to, I think, frame 30. We can get this all back to where it was pretty quickly, I think. So we just move these back here. Open up those hands a bit. Move these elbows down a bit. And then, like, starting maybe... No, never mind. I think what we can do is we can just... This was the thing that we were trying to do when we got absolutely messed up. Active element. No symmetry, please. We can just do this. And it doesn't work perfectly, but it works kind of well enough. And then back to 120. So this is going to look really goofy, because it is. Actually, I think instead of back to 120, this one just immediately like goes straight back into this. And I think we just kind of skip this pose. I think we immediately go into this pose. Which includes this. That's a bit better. Obviously, need to now go fix it, these hands and stuff. Because these get them into roughly the right position, but not much more than that. Then at 70, we have this. The issue is also this one. And this one extended that way a bit more. Part of the problem, I think, is also that this... Yeah, that's also part of the problem, which changes the position of these again. Because of course it does. One day, we're gonna get this right and it's gonna look probably pretty shit. Not gonna lie to you. What the fuck did I just do? Why does it... I'm an idiot. Hold on. Let me fix this. We can fix this. So the issue wasn't that he... That is the issue. The issue wasn't the zeroization, was the actorization. Still leaves quite a lot to be desired. But at least the poses are pretty good. So now let's connect those up. First and foremost, this needs to move in way more of an arc. So all this can go fuck off. It is the, not the X, it's the Y. Needs to move a bit more like this. A lot more like, oh, actually. Too much, too much, too much, too much. Yeah, too much. But that's maybe just because that keyframe is too much to begin with. Not bad. Aside from the rotation here being kind of scuffed, but that's fixable. Now let's look at this one. Again, we're doing the location first, then we'll worry about rotation later. That's pretty good. That is also pretty good. Could probably do with a little bit more like round motion to it. I said a little bit. Let's see. Maybe a bit much. All right. That's probably should have started with the spine, now that I think about it, because that's going to influence how far these things need to move with the hands, but fuck me. Okay. Yeah, this is entirely a rotational thing, right? So I think it's entirely X rotation as well. So that's literally just a matter of doing this. Well, maybe not that much. It's just a little rotation is enough, I think. For this one, I think we'll want to do something a little more smooth out. No. That's really what we want to do. Yeah, I think I'm just going a little overboard with the X rotation on the previous one. That last little bit there is too fast. On this one. So that needs to be a bit more like this, I think. So I think this is what we're getting at. I also think that this keyframe in general which means that everything around this in general should just move a little bit more there. Need to worry about that one in a moment again. And this is also just, again, a bit of blend into, so it's fine that that doesn't fully work as well. I should maybe like or think. This could probably do with a little... Let's see if we free these tangents up a bit. Okay. And then the most important one, it's this one. I almost forgot about it. This should definitely like start here. Open up there. Stay opened up, and then close back down here. Maybe a bit more toward that. And now we can start worrying more about the timing of things. Yeah, so this indeed is a little too slow now. And the thing as a whole can probably do with being a fair bit faster. Oh, I don't know that that was a good idea, but here we are. I think that this needs to just move down a bit more. Move in a little bit more. And this. That's probably good. I don't know, man. I think that this is good enough. The last bit is stiff as all fuck, but I don't like super hate it. So let's stick with this. Zombie roar. Completed. Well, technically, I think I should mark all these as in progress if I was being like 100% honest with myself, but this feels like I'm making progress, because now we've done all of the base animations, we just need to do the combat animations. Which scares me a lot. I'm going to be honest, I think if my rigging improved, my animation would immediately be a little better as well. Because half the time I feel like while I'm animating, I'm fighting my own control rigs. It's also just not my cup of tea. As these animation streams always make very evident, which again is why I don't think I will be doing these moving forward. I might do another one for this character, but if we do another like full character on stream thing, why don't use Unreal 5 control rig? This is kind of an experiment to see if Blender control rig setups work better or not for me. Because the thing with Unreal 5 control rigs is that they are a bit more of a headache to set up compared to just like this constraint-based workflow that Blender has. And I think setting up the control rigs in this is actually proving to be a little bit smoother and a little bit easier than it is in Blender or is in Unreal still. I don't for sure know that I think that is worth it necessarily, because it's not that much smoother, it's not that much better. And I do really like being able to go in-game and immediately change something fairly easily. That said, in practice, it ends up being I animate in one level and then I test in another level, so I need to go back and forth between levels anyway to update animations. So just having Blender open in the background and re-exporting in FBX and then re-importing it isn't that big a deal. But the annoying thing about re-importing an FBX from Blender is that if you already have the FBX imported, you re-import it. If there's new animations in the FBX, it doesn't actually like look through if there's any new animation data in there to create new animation clips off of it, and doing all that in Unreal actually is smoother because it's just new animation sequences. So I'm a little torn between, hey, maybe doing it in Blender, maybe doing it in Unreal. I don't think it, in the end, makes that much of a difference for me. That was part of the experiment here, is seeing if I would prefer Blender for animation purposes. And in certain ways, I do. I think that moving things around is just like smoother and more intuitive in Blender. Being able to just say, hey, okay, we are standard and local space, but I can just like press the Y button once for your standard, and then if I press Y again, now I'm in like world space, right? So that is a little bit smoother than it is in Unreal, where you need to like click a button or you need to like move back and forth. I think that the controlling and the tools in Blender in general just work better for animation. But I don't know, man. I think what it comes down to, what I'm going to do moving forward with the new gizmos animation in Unreal become real natural. Well, it is improved. I still don't think it is as intuitive for me as these Blender controls are for the most part. Because with Blender controls, I can also like fairly easily, what I did just a moment ago, right, is I can say, okay, pick all of these things and then just coming up here saying I want them to rotate around the 3D cursor, which will rotate them around the 3D cursor, which works fairly well. Or I want to rotate them all around their individual origins, which will all rotate them around their individual, like local or global in this case, right? Axis, or around the median point. All this is just very quick and easy and intuitive, and it's not impossible to do in Unreal, of course, but it's just like a bit more of a hassle to do. So I think what I'm coming down to personally is anything that only needs gameplay animations, I might do in Blender going forward. Anything that also needs in-game animation, which means things like cinematic animation, I definitely will do in Unreal, because the ability to just have a control rig and animate like custom movement for your characters in a cinematic animation. I don't want to animate a handful of like canned animations in Blender and then construct a cinematic out of those. When I make a cinematic, I want to animate the cinematic, right? So anything that needs to be animated in a cinematic, probably do that in Unreal. Which comes down to all the boss characters and the main character. The main character already has a control rig, so that's good. But from there, it comes down to whenever I make a boss character, I'm probably going to end up rigging and animating in Unreal. And everything else I'll probably do in Blender. The big be-all and end-all of all this is that I don't think it matters that much what I animate in. I just kind of am not that good at it. So I just need to improve. And part of that is control rigs. I think that this control rig is decent. I think it could be better. For instance, what I might want to do, what I could still do, is if I give it another control here, right, that I can use for rotation, I don't need to mess with forward and inverse kinematics, but I can still make a easy rotational movement with the IK control. So if I just... I'm just going to try this out, actually, because this seems like it's maybe not a bad idea. Like, if I just pull off this control right here, and I like disconnect this bone, just as an example, and then I give this, right? Well, no, we actually probably want to hold on. I think, yeah, no. Yeah. So disconnect bone, then we go into the pose mode for this. And then what I'm thinking we could do is, first and foremost, fucking clear all the transforms for this. I'm just messing around at this point. I don't know. We're not going to finish the animations today. We'll see if we do more on Thursday or not. Anyway. I will, yeah, so what I was going to do is there's going to be a child of, like this armature, obviously. And then there's going to be a child of spine 3. So now whenever I move this, it should also like move that with it. Kinda, not really. It's also kind of weird that spine 3, presumably, like its endpoint is there, which is kind of fucked. No, it's not. So why offset like that? Like something somewhere about this entire rig is kind of messed up, and I don't know what or where. Is it because of this? Like it's parented to a point to nothingness. Why is it parented to nothingness? It should be parented to this point over here, but it's not. Okay, different idea. We take this bone, and we use that instead. We do need to then remove it from deform bones, add it to control bones. Yeah, so now I think this one is more or less properly aligned to the shoulder. Don't know what the difference was there, but sure. This is apparently head control, but that's probably fine, right? What the fuck? Oh, it has copy rotation of the head control. I don't think that matters, right? Yeah, so now this is parented to that. So now we can parent this. We'll get there. To that bone, which is called head 001. Which in theory means that we, first and foremost, now when we move around this torso, it'll move around the arm with it. Which is what I want in most cases. But I can also now fairly easily make these rotational movements with the arm, but still like move the arm like this as well, right? So maybe that's something that we want to do. But maybe it isn't. I don't know. That's kind of the thing. Like, is setting up an extra control bone like this worth it for like one very specific situation, or should I just make the animation curves work for that? For now, I'm going to do the latter. We're just going to do this with animation curves. But that was an idea that just came to mind. Anyway. Thanks to him getting into Blender stuff. I'm very sorry about that. Thanks to these streams. They really motivated me to start working on my own models. I mean, that's cool. I like that. I appreciate that. But I'm also still kind of bad at it. The modeling I'm like decent enough at, I would argue. Still not a pro. Still not like super good. But decent enough. Let's see, how do we do this? Maybe like this. The rigging and animation portion of it, I'm like just legitimately not very good at. And let's set this back to local space. We also need to set this to a... what the fuck? Oh, that makes sense. Let's just rotate around active element. That's fine. There's a couple of things that I'm without a doubt worse at in this whole like game development thing. One of them is music and sound. But if I had a budget, let's just imagine for a moment that somebody gave me like 10 million and said, hey, I probably don't need 10 million, 1 million, and said, hey, here's money. Go make sure that your game can like be finished and be good. It would be spent on a composer and a sound designer. And immediately after that, I would spend it on art. And specifically like rigging animation first. And if there's then like money left, I'd actually like commission the actual models and texturing and stuff itself too. But I feel like modeling and texturing I can get away with good enough. It's the animation where it falls apart for me. Which is a pain. But it is the world we live in. Let's maybe... hold on, if we just rotate this around... that's the same as rotating this around, isn't it? Yeah, so why would I fucking do any of that shit? Well, this is definitely going to need to be over here. Is over there. Let's not make a twist around its own. Um, and this is what I mean with rotational movement, right? So usually you do this with forward kinematics, rotating all these bones around so that it has like this arcing motion to it. I don't have anything set up for that, so what I need to do instead is I need to get the IK control and figure out the location that corresponds. I think it's probably Y location, I imagine. Yes. And just do all this through manipulating these curves. So we need to like make it move around like this instead. Which works. Like, as you can see, it's not that big a deal. But I also don't know that it's like altogether an amazing way to do things. Hold on. Why are you being so weird? Oh, because that is the axis that I want, and this one I want to have like this, I guess. And much the same for this hand. It's going to just be moving in a straight line, which for this one actually kind of works, to be honest. But all this makes more sense to do with forward kinematics. So we maybe should have been using that. I thought I wasn't going to need it for this. What the hell is this? Okay, there we go. Wait, do we? It feels like we're rotating this thing differently based on where we're looking at it from, but that's like obviously not the case, right? Hopefully, because that would be really quite weird. Oh, they should be local. Okay, that makes a certain amount more sense now. Not too much, but a little. Okay, let's just for shits and giggles see how this moves. Not good is the answer. Very not good. So the way this should move is like this. Okay, maybe not quite like that, but kind of like that. Good. And then now we need to look at presumably the X, right? It's actually the height. So it's the Z. And this is exactly why we should just do this kind of stuff with forward kinematics. Because, like, look at the hoops that I have to work myself through to even make this kind of work. And for this one, I'm just going to actually put it in the, like, physically most sensible spots. Instead of worrying about curves. Oh yeah, so that is definitely too much. Yeah, man, I don't think that this is gonna work. I don't think that this is gonna work this way. I think we need to set up some kind of rotational stuff, because I don't know. I don't know, man. I'm trying to think if there's any good way for me to work all this out. Like this, like copperization is fine. It's just making this thing move around in a curve is actually like hell with IK. That's not what IK is good at. So it makes the most sense for this animation specifically, and maybe we can just do this with the deform bones directly. But for this animation specifically, can I like animate this to be at 0? And animate like this to be at 0 for all of these? And just do these with like good old rotation. Holy hell! Dude, why? Why fireworks? What the fuck is wrong with you? It's fucking November 5th. We're not even American. You can't even say it's election day. Why? There's some fuckers in my neighborhood that just really like fireworks and like get fireworks at every opportunity to like fire them off. More so at New Year's, obviously. Like last week was Halloween and fucking fireworks. Good or bad on it. But why now? I guess maybe they had some left from Halloween or whatever. Anyway, so yeah, now I can just do this the good old way, which is kind of annoying to deal with as well, but it'll do. Then we have, let's see, yeah, frame 30. So at frame 30, now it's just literally as easy as rotating these to do that, right? And voila, we have this as a circular motion now. Once again. I guess that is actually what we can do. When we don't need to set up like whole ass. Okay, this makes me think, because in Blender it is a lot more straightforward to just animate only deformed bones directly. In Unreal you need to then set up, well, maybe you don't need to, but as far as I know you need to. You need to set up forward kinematic chains as well and stuff like that. Well, the bones themselves already do that. So I guess it is easier to just say, hey, set the influence to 0 for these animations and just use the deformed bones and just like either like move them around or like just rotate them around. So that is a benefit, I guess. Which is kind of interesting, maybe. I don't know if it is, hopefully. And then we can swipe this entire thing like around like this. I will somewhat stagger this in a moment as well. But just as easily as that, we've got this like swiping attack that he can do, right? Which will then like eventually return to the original position as well. Much less hassle than all the IK stuff that we're just trying to do. So that is nice. Now, obviously, this needs some time reworking, because I think it just, first and foremost, faster. Then, once it's faster, we take everything on this keyframe, and we just do that. To only one side, actually. Ooh, how are we going to do that? That is a fantastic question. Because I kind of doubt that this is... Well, maybe actually, if we just move all this that away. Well, no, we do need to move both way. We do need to scale it up in both ways. Now that I think about it. Because we need them to like stick around a little longer. It's just from that point forward, everything else just needs to happen faster as well. Specifically, this part needs to be significantly faster, and this can just move along linearly, I think. Ooh, no, that's too fast. I think it's fine if this takes like a little longer. All this still moves too slow as well. Yeah, so that's the issue, is it's still... What are these keyframes even? I think these keyframes might be just the... Yeah, they are. This one too. That one too. To be honest with you, I'm just going to get rid of the keyframes for the IK targets here altogether, because they're not relevant. They don't matter in this animation, and they just confuse me. Okay, this makes the entire thing about 1,000,000 times more readable, so that's a good start. Now let's just worry about like these three. I think for a big part it's also like just this one, right? Maybe? Or is it this one? I think it might be this one. Hold on. Yeah, that's kind of it. Pull back. Probably needs to be like... Maybe it's not this one. What happens if we get rid of this keyframe altogether? Do we still have... no. Oh, that one doesn't... Yeah, that one's lacking this keyframe. Which is like presumably a Y, right? Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot of sense now. So this entire movement from there to there can just be faster. And then we give this all channels a little bit of room for like a overshoot. Specifically like these ones. Which we're going to need to do one at a time, actually, now that I look at it a little more. So if we like do a little more... Yep. This all is working out fairly smoothly now, I think. That might be a bit much. I think after this first attack animation is roughly done, we're going to call it a day, because today has just not been all that great, if I'm being real with you. Yeah, so from here on, I don't think... Let's take these out. Oh, we also, for the attacks, I also wanted the hands to grow, I think. So we'll implement that as well. Implement, you know, just animate that more so. I think that's pretty good. So as he pulls back this specific hand, we go from just keyframe on all channels to making it a fair bit bigger. And I only... Let's get rid of scale keyframes, because I apparently put a bunch of keyframes in already. All channels. Scale it the frig up. Make him slash his way through. All channels, and then on his way back, set it back to scale 1, 1, and 1. Oh, and this definitely should also be scale 1, 1, 1. Huh? Just kind of thinking, just for fun, right? What if we also made both of these bigger? Is that maybe a bit much? I think that might be a bit much. The wonderful thing is, I think Blender has easy built-in animation mirroring as well. And since everything is properly named, I think we can just mirror this animation. And we'll have both of the attack animations that I want. Yeah, so let's set this to like 1.5. Not 0.5, 1.5. Oh, it also scales up everything below it, so maybe 1.5 is too much. Oh, that's 11.5. Hold on. No, no, no. Yeah, I think that might be a bit much. But I kind of think it's also funny. So let's keep that, and then yeah. Does that go? I mean, at this point, that goes well underground. Yeah, that goes well underground. So maybe we don't even like do that. We just turns out characters that have like stupidly long. Wait, what? Did I accidentally push it down? Huh. Seems like it did. Characters with stupidly long arms have just like very big reach. But now the overshoot also definitely needs more in the Z, or whichever one. I think it's this one. No. Is it this one? Yeah. It needs a lot more in this. On both axes. Or both controllers, rather. I mean, I can work with that. So let's call this zombie attack .r. Let's check out Blender animation mirror. In pose mode, copy pose. For the bones, you want only selected keyframe. Then only the bones you want to mirror. More everything. Just gonna watch a video real quick. Google, can you please stop serving me videos at like 360p when I want to see something? Okay. Select everything. Yes. Control C to copy, that makes sense. Control Shift V. Is it really that easy? Select everything. In like start editing, select everything and select everything. And then Control Shift V. Don't look like it. Internal clipboard empty. Did I not properly? Oh, I might need to duplicate this one. Maybe that's what's going on. So if I copy all this and I paste, that didn't do anything. I think it did something, but it didn't do what I wanted it to do. Yeah, it made him look the other direction. This only works for the active bone. What? Or hold on, actually. There's a couple of things that change, but like most things seem to not be changing. Did I not select? Here, if we do that, and then I paste. No, F curve select to paste into. Oh, can I not paste because it has like these curves to it? Is that the issue? It seems like that might be the issue. Paste keyframes. Flipped. Oh, there we go. Type overwrite. Huh, okay. We've got the second animation done. More or less. Why can I not know active marker? What the fuck are you talking about? I just want to rename this thing. Yeah, zombie attack left. Okay, so that one is done as well. So let's mark it off on the to-do list. So that's base attack 1 and 2. Then we have the revenge attack, the pop-up attack, and the dive down animation, and the morphing of the pool. I think now that we have all that set up, if we do another stream for animation on Thursday, we can finish up those last animations and maybe revisit some of the animations that kind of suck that we made today, which is all of them. And then we'll be good to go to start importing this into Unreal and like putting together the animation blueprint for it. Or maybe we'll even do that on Thursday during the stream. And then we can finally start programming this guy. And I don't think the programming for this guy is going to be all too complicated. So maybe we can do the entirety of the programming within 2 streams. So next week. And then this character will be done, which would be nice. Together with me, maybe putting in some time making some extra magic spells off stream. And depending on what I want to do with the familiars or the summon spells that I talked about in a community post today and on Discord as well, maybe that'll get some priority. But we'll have a handful of at least normal magic spells for the test play build. And maybe I'll also have between some or a bunch of different summons that you can use in that test build. And that means that we're gonna slowly inch closer to actually having a publicly available test build to play and for you guys to test, and for me to hate my life because people will find issues with the thing that I've been working on for forever. Anyway, this has been a good one. I'm slightly less unhappy with the rig now that I've worked with it a little bit and I'm messing around with it a little bit. I still think that there is a lot of room for improvement in my like rigging skill specifically, and then with animation as well. But we live and learn and we improve. I'll be back later again on Thursday, and yeah, hopefully playtesting soon. I'm excited to see what you guys think. See you then.